Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning back into Dave and Joe Liberty Stand again. And this subject, this video is going to be about unintended consequences
Is crap.
is a myth, or that, when it comes to government programs. So what do you mean by that? Can you kind of
Yeah, they know what it's going
explain
to
that?
do. They absolutely know what that's going to do.
The government.
The government does.
Knows what.
Oh, and it's very much on purpose. Yeah. Social Security. That wasn't to help people.
Our government has some smart people in it.
Crafty.
Yeah, there you go.
And it always has, and it always will, which is why the founders tried to set it up with the Constitution to try to put blocks on that every step of the way.
Limiting
But
the powers.
man, when it just gets kicked down over little bit by a little bit over a series of 100 years, that kind of time frame, and you condition people to get used to, well, the government now does this, it's okay because they
right
now. Why? Well, if they can do that, why can't they do this?
Yeah, right. But the thing is, they're doing it with our tax money. That's the thing.
Yeah, we are actually
we're
paying
funding
to take more of our money so that they can divvy out what they see.
Right,
fit
education. So boys can go into girls' bathrooms.
I want to go back to examples of this.
Yeah,
like Social Security. It's a safety. It's for people to have something when they get older. When they get older and stuff. Well, okay, and this would be wrong too. But if they would have said, well, you have to put this much amount into the same amount like you pay in Social Security into an investment of some sort, stock market, IRA, kind of whatever.
And so kind of you're managing it yourself.
Well, that's, yes. And you have the freedom. It's your money. Everybody says, well, Social Security, you can't take that away. That's my money. Well,
managed by the government, which is mismanaged, which is...
And it's not, there's no fund somewhere with your name on it. Okay, that's in a general fund. That's why when they say security, it could run out at any time, or we got to make changes.
Where it's already
That's why.
That's
not locked up in your name. And they did it on purpose because at the time everybody thought, yeah, because it was during the, right after the Great Depression times and stuff.
And we talked about that earlier.
And we did. And so, it got sold to the people, and it's just a way for everybody to keep voting for that kind of establishment thing. And back then, it was just Democrat. It was a Democrat thing.
Okay.
And it was to get Democrats reelected because people, it's just like the modern day, what Obama has tried to do with the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, one of the most destructive things that ever happened was LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, with the Welfare Act, and poor people, and especially really hard on minorities. It's configured in a way to try to make them hooked on the government for their needs. Once you need assistance, why do you think? Since that got enacted, you can look at the stats. And again, I beg you, every time we do these shows, I always try to, at least in one of the shows, and we have a sit down in one evening of doing shows, look this stuff up. It's there for everyone to see. The black families, the dads that were in a family, the married couple, it went down and down and down and down and down and down, and it was broken. It was kids with mom. Because, the guys would go there to make babies and then make tracks. They're out of there. They're on
right. And mom turned to the government for help.
Well, because that's why, though. It wasn't that. That didn't happen because the family didn't break up because, or the family did break up because of that program. It wasn't the other way around. We didn't need that program because that was happening. But since
it enabled.
Yes.
More.
And it was not
that kind of.
It was definitely a consequence they knew would happen. It's human nature.
Right.
If
you
can get something.
That's a good point. Human nature.
Well, that's what the Constitution's
they
based
know
on.
The human. They're
all this liberal crap is based on a utopia in the way it ought to be and all this stuff, you know. Well, that doesn't work because
No,
it goes
you can't have
against.
heaven on earth.
No, you can't. That's why you're supposed to do a good job here on earth, so you get to heaven when you die. See, it's okay. You're not supposed to get, you know, the one first.
Yeah,
but,
right.
So I don't know.
Know your Savior, Jesus Christ.
What are your thoughts on or questions or whatever?
Well, again, I guess I've kind of been trained in that way mindset too, because I think of some family members who I'm like, okay, there's a need, and that's almost like automatic where we're like, hey, the government has a program for that, and so it's like we've been kind of trained to turn, so I can see
That's why they had
a
100-year plan. Because if you tried to spring all this stuff on somebody that knew better at the beginning, no, you do a little drip and drab here and there, here and there, and generations go by. Which goes back to our millennial show.
Right.
Because they don't know any different
than
what they know now.
Than what they grew up
now that
in.
we're in this sinkhole and they think, well, it's not the sinkhole's problem, it's the people that...
Well, and I grew up, you know, the way I was in my family, you know, my dad worked, you know, I was shown how you work. You take care of your family.
There you
know
go.
What I'm saying?
And that's how it perpetuates. Because as a child, what a family's supposed to do is train you as a child to know how you're supposed to be as an adult.
Right.
Well, when you are living, you only got a mom and you never had a dad, or vice versa,
that's another
or whatever.
show, by the way.
But no, I mean, but what do? You watch your parents and see how they. Well, first of all, you're only seeing one parent, and especially if they're on welfare and they don't even have a job to go.
Right.
What do you do?
That's what
the first of the month you get this check and you have a pretty good week.
Yeah.
And then the next week's a little less, and then the next two, you know, I mean, that's what you do. You sit on the porch and you know, whatever. And I'm not
like
saying
a trap.
It is a trap, and it's on purpose, because then the other party, they're going to take your benefits away, and they don't care about you being poor. Well, you wouldn't be poor if you hadn't latched onto this way of thinking. Benjamin Franklin said, you know, founding father. Yeah, Joe. By the way, you asked if Thomas Jefferson was a founding father last time. Yeah, founding father.
James knows a lot more.
But
you would not feel so.
Benjamin Franklin said the way to help people is to make them a lot less comfortable in their poverty. If you make out a struggle, if you know, hey, if you don't have a job, if you're not trying,
we've been trying to do that with someone we know.
Guess what? You may not eat. You may not have a place to stay, get out of the rain and the weather and stuff. That's very motivational. It's highly motivational.
Right.
Guess what kind of better situation we'd be in. No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that churches, family members, friends, whatever, great. But those places, or at least those places, most friends, most family members want to see that you're making an effort.
Right. They're going to kind of hold you more accountable.
Exactly.
Maybe. Well, hopefully. But that's the other part of it, too. It's like, you know, by the government taking all these things and these programs, it takes the responsibility off me. Where you know, if I have a family member that needs help, you know, then I should, and like you said, with the church especially, I mean, if you look at the history when God set up the church, where the people put their money, and so then everyone can have, you know, so they can help those who are in need. And it's not for an extended period of time either.
But you've got to show that
you're
really trying.
Right. They have to work.
And the people
they have to work to earn, I think.
Say, you know what, I've got this job. Are you good at it? Would you be interested in doing
a trade,
this?
maybe, type thing. Yeah.
You know, I'll give you some.
It wasn't just a handout.
No.
Like like we have today. It was a
help us.
Well, you invested more than money. You invested your life into the other person. Absolutely. And then what you love them for Christ. If you were following Jesus, then you're gonna shine the light of Christ into their life too. So I mean, that's and what way it is now. It's enabled me to be again lazy because the government's gonna take care of this and that.
Well, so, I'll tell you what. Over the years, from the time I mean, even when I had nothing, and I mean, I don't not have anything, but the reason I live in a little tiny place like I do is so I can have stuff. It's like, okay, I can't have big parties and I can't have people over because I got neighbors upstairs and I got a tiny little place where we can really get around. But I'll tell you what, that helps me save money to be able to be responsible and have things I want to have and have savings. And people don't get, you got to sacrifice. You can't just have it all, and especially by doing nothing. I mean,
when we talked about, again, that you have to have the house, the 2 cars, the 2.5 kids.
Right now. Right now.
You guys, well, we're going to sign out because we've extended our welcome.
Again, we've done that.
And he needs to watch out. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
My eyes are...
Your eyes. God bless you. Thanks a
See
lot.
you guys. Thanks.